If you want to build a business that scales or a life that excels, you have to get maximum production of every single effort. And in this video, we're going to do just that. So stay tuned. You know, Connor from our team used to get on me all the time about my relentless focus, in a good way. Like it both inspired him and challenged him to actually grow. Here's the thing though, I was taking it for granted. I had no idea about my productivity and how it was actually playing a role in my overall success and what that looks like. I just assumed that everybody could plot a course, take some steps, get the results they need, and keep moving forward. You see, I'm used to having my back up against the wall. And as a result, I've been forced to outperform my competitors in economic environments time after time. And now after 22 years as an entrepreneur, 6 businesses, hundreds of amazing people that work with me to create momentum, it's actually a little easier to be productive than it used to be. At the same time, I had to stay in touch with that scrappy little kid that actually got things going to begin with. So when I began working with Connor, he insisted that I create a video on productivity to help you become more productive than you have been so you can get more done and have more life and then start to win each and every single day. Here's the deal. Diligence is a lot like sharpening an axe. Either you can spend hours a day sweating and chopping and chewing your way through a tree, or you can spend a little bit of time putting a razor sharp edge on your axe. How you do that and the diligence you use to do that determines whether or not you actually get to move forward in a quick fashion or a very slow fashion. So when it comes to productivity, you have to learn how to sharpen your axe. You can increase your productivity by 10 or even 100-fold by sharpening yourself daily. And here's exactly how I do it in hopes it'll help you do the same thing. Number 1 is prayer, meditation, and gratitude. Look, I know on some other videos, if you've been watching for this channel for any length of time, you've heard me talk about those pieces over and over again in separate videos. It's because they're that important. Prayer, meditation, and gratitude are where your day starts. It's where your opportunity starts because it all starts here, right here in the mind. And you gotta make sure that you're ready to go. When you start your day off with prayer and meditation, what you're really doing is opening up the opportunities of your mind to begin to learn. And that actually opens up your day to receive the best of that day. Number 2, activity and exercise. Why is that important? It's because it sets the tone for the entire day. The most successful people on the planet are actually the most active people on the planet. Maybe they go and have breakfast and all that kind of stuff first, but they're actively doing something on a daily basis to get the blood pumping, get the blood going, right? It gets the momentum building and the ongoing going. That's where you want to spend your time and energy. And if you're missing that right now, there's a high likelihood you are not being as productive as you could be. All right, number 3, focused review of objectives. Most people, unfortunately, lose productivity because they don't start the day with a plan. Dude, how insane is it to not actually start a day with a plan? Seriously, think about that. Your day's happening to you, you're not getting the things you want to get done, you go home at night, you're discouraged, you start over the next morning as discouraged as the night before, and you let the crazy cycle complete. If you're gonna win, you gotta have a task list. The task list tells you how winning is done and what it looks like. It also, as a side note, when you have a task list, you build self-confidence little by little by little because you're like, check, done it, baby. Check, done it, baby. Check, done it, baby. Oop, gotta do that one again. Check, done it, baby. And you actually feel like you're getting somewhere. That's called progress. You get progress by being able to check things off towards your goals. And it creates a roadmap for you to see that you're headed towards your goals. So, you've got to have a focused review on a daily basis of your objectives in writing in the form of a task list so you can win your day. All right, number 4, this really works for me. I began to break my day up into 15-minute time frames. In other words, I allow myself to be budgeted based on my executive assistant in 15-minute time frames. 15 minutes from this meeting, 15 minutes for this, 15 minutes for this, and if I need a block, maybe it's an hour, it's a bunch of 15-minute block. The reason I do that is to allow myself to actually plan my day in such a way that I can see where all my time is being invested, right? Time is the one thing that you can't get back once you've invested it. So it's important to invest it wisely. One of the things that's the most powerful about a 15-minute time frame is a 15-minute time frame is not so overwhelming that you don't want to take a step, and it's not so underused that you're not going to make progress. No matter what that is, the 15-minute scenario allows you to have more control over the outcomes of the day, which is why it's so important. So make sure you learn to budget in 15-minute time frames, avoid the knocking on your door, got a minute meetings, and instead set a proper time to speak to those people in the proper meeting setting in the 15-minute increments, and that'll help you win. And in that same vein, we're gonna move on to number 5, which is remove distractions. Now, it is no secret that I've done other videos on removing distractions. No secret at all. It's because it works. The less you have distractions, the more you win. However, so many of us don't want to take the time to remove the distractions. We allow the people to come in and do the whole got-a-minute meetings that I mentioned a second ago. What that does is that disrupts flow. How can you stay in flow and become productive if you're constantly being interrupted? Remove distractions. Put your phone away while you're in the middle of stuff. When I go to make content, I lock myself away from my team, away from my family, and I'm actually asking myself, what is going to give the audience the most bang for the buck, the most bang for their time? If not, I'm gonna have the got-a-minute meetings. Hey, honey, can you take out the garbage? Hey, the dog did whatever over here. Can you help me clean this up? Hey, Justin's over here doing this, which is one of my sons. Distractions kill productivity. Distractions kill the usage of time. The best way to handle that is to remove the distractions and actually keep things moving forward. So, 2 major ways to remove distractions is to be very careful with your technology. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not saying don't go on there and look around and heart your biggest thing or share your most important thing. I'm saying do it at the right time. Do it during a break, not while you're in the middle of doing something. The second area of removing distractions that's vitally important is meetings. Yes, the people you relate to and the reasons you relate to them. It doesn't matter if you're a college student or an EVP at an executive firm. Meetings can kill the productivity of your day, either having too many of them or letting them linger and not having agendas based on those. Anytime you're supposed to be present at a meeting, you need that meeting to move. So make sure you're responsible with the agenda and the purpose for the meeting, or excuse yourself from the meeting altogether. Now, as we're continuing down the path, do me a favor, go ahead and take the time to hit the bell and subscribe so you make sure you get the notifications on the next video when it releases so you can actually keep making progress. All right, let's go ahead and get back to maximum productivity. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to prepare your objectives for the next day. There's not enough time and energy to constantly walk into your next day and try to figure things out. Instead, you need to think through that and prepare them for the next day. Again, we already talked about the task list. We already talked about overcoming and coming up with our objectives and our priorities. Planning out for the next day allows you to go into tomorrow with an actual plan. And when you go in tomorrow with a plan, then no matter what happens, even if something comes in and totally disrupts it, you're able to get back to your plan and keep you back on course and put you back in a place where you're making consistent progress. All right, number 7, brain dump, accomplishment and objectives. One of the worst things that I used to do is walk into my house thinking about all the things I had to do tomorrow, all the things, all the different meetings, all the different people. What I've learned to do instead is I've learned to empty my mind just before I actually call it a day. Doesn't matter if it's at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. To the best of my ability, I'm gonna jot down all the notes, all the different things that I don't want to forget, that I need to remember, but I don't necessarily want to take into my social environment with my wife and my kids. Why? They deserve presence from me. And if I'm thinking about today and tomorrow and the next day and the month after and the meetings and everything else, I can't be present with the people who matter most to me. So make sure you take the time to have a brain dump of your accomplishment and your objectives to set yourself up. Next up is going to be step number 8, and it's super important, and that is rest and reflection. The number 1 most underutilized thing that we focus on, that we struggle with as overachievers or type A personalities so many times than not, is actually taking time to rest and reflect. I can tell you that if I go for 6 months straight without a single break, I get burnout and I'm not my best Steven, not to my team, not to my family, not to my friends. You've got to take time on a regular basis to have a structured plan to know where you go, who you're with, and what you're doing to get rest and replenishment, including sleeping all day on a Sunday afternoon while you're watching in the breeze in a hammock or something. Whatever it is for you, you've got to have that be part of your plan. All right? My next one is my favorite. Step number 9, rinse, lather, and repeat. What I just disclosed to you is actually a routine. You're creating a routine of productivity based on a principle of getting the right things done at the right time without distraction. And as you do that, you'll learn that your steamroll, if you will, your choo-choo train is going to pick up choo-choo, a lot of momentum, grinding and going and going and going. Pretty soon you become unstoppable. And being unstoppable is what it's all about. When things come at you, you're unstoppable. Roll right through them. That's how you get things done. You triple, 10x, 100x your productivity and keep things moving forward for your own life. What is more important than getting to the place that you need to be in life where you feel like you have safety, security, and purpose? Your life matters. I want to help you win at it, so check this next video out to keep that moving forward.